Welcome back to Patterson Properties. Hopefully, you guys having a great and exceptional day. It's been about 2 weeks since I've made content on this channel. I've been making more content on my Larry's Anything Goes LLC, but it's time to get back to the basics when it comes to my real estate channel. So, without further ado, just making sure everything is working on here. There we go. All right. So, the state of Florida. No hate against Florida. I've talked about the state of Florida many times, but this article came up the other day and I wanted to talk about it. Like any other state, has its pros and cons of living. There's no perfect state in the United States of America. It has its pros and cons of living there, family. But one thing Florida doesn't have is the best job market as of now. But that could change because you have a lot of tech CEOs and billionaires moving there. So they might start creating jobs there because of obvious reasons. Because of the business-friendly / tax-friendly environment or lack thereof, which has almost always hurt regular everyday working people from living in the state of Florida, because a lot of regular everyday working people are moving to the Carolinas, they're moving to Georgia, they're moving to Texas, they're moving to Alabama, Mississippi, especially because, you know, Florida has a very big retirement population. And matter of fact, Florida is going to have competition when it comes to a retirement population because like the state of Mississippi voted to eliminate income state tax within the next couple of years. So that's one of the biggest reasons why people move to the state of Florida, because their pension doesn't get taxed. So it's more money for them to live off of, or do whatever they need to do with. So but that's neither here or there. More well-to-do people like Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg have decided to move to the state of Florida. And basically, Florida is becoming the California of the South without all the egregious taxes that like California has. Love California, but it is what it is. Like I said, I point out the pros and cons of every state, because every state has pros and cons of living there. But anyways, they're moving there obviously for the tax breaks and of course various other reasons, other things. But your average 9-to-5 worker isn't thriving from a real estate perspective as many would think in the state of Florida. One of the major reasons why real estate investment for the state of Florida deals with personal property taxes, the issues that they deal with is personal property taxes. High homeowners association fees, known as HOAs, are considered to be very egregious in most of the major metropolitan areas of the state of Florida, i.e. Tampa, Miami, St. Pete, and Jacksonville, and the list goes on and on. One of the things that has been lurking around the state legislature is getting rid of home personal property taxes, and the current governor's been talking about it, and it could be in the works sometime soon, but we'll see what happens. But that hasn't really happened as of yet. So according to the article that I read the other day, new real estate analysis pegs Florida among the worst housing markets in the United States, and several sunshine state cities are struggling too. Construction Coverage real estate publication released its 2026 edition of the hottest real estate markets in the country, and its findings were chilly for Florida. The analysis ranks markets using indicators such as days houses are on the market and price growth, and bidding activity to compile a composite score. Florida earned a score of 7.8, the second worst score in the country behind only Texas at 7.3. That's compared to Connecticut at the top of the list with a score of 93.9, followed by New Jersey's and Rhode Island. Before I even go on, the quiet thing about Connecticut, it has its issues just like any other state, but when it comes to a lot of people, investors and people moving, living in that tri-state area of New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey, Connecticut seems to be the state that's more affordable and reasonable for people to buy homes, and specifically buy investment properties, because the prices is not as egregious as obviously New York City, parts of New York State, and the state of New Jersey. So I'll leave it at that. Do your own homework, do your own research, go from there. The southern U.S. fared poorly in the analysis, with the region making up 8 of the bottom 15 states. Virginia, my home state and where I currently reside, is the only southern state in the top 15 at number 12. Like I said, I live there in Virginia, and the biggest problem in Virginia is affordability, not egregious personal property taxes, which affordability and high property taxes are the biggest issues in the state of New Jersey, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Because inventory is not a problem in Virginia because they keep building more houses, and it seems like they can't build enough of them. It's just the cost is the biggest issue in Virginia. Job market's good in Virginia, and specifically the DMV area, Northern Virginia, where I live at, Richmond, Virginia, and 7 cities of Tidewater. Those are the most economically prosperous parts of the state. Richmond being the state capital, 7 cities being having a big military, industrial industry, from Navy, shout out to the military, Army, Air Force, and then of course the importing and exporting, and then on top of that, tourism. So and then of course the jobs that come along with that. So and then the mom and pop jobs, things of that nature. So that's with the state of Virginia, but we're not talking about Virginia today. But since it's my state, I can speak to it intelligently because this is where I was born, this is where I was raised, and you know, it is what it is. Anyways, the article also stated that construction coverage analysis concluded that there are many forces working against the housing market in southern states. The rapid home price increases in these regions, combined with rising mortgage rates and return to office mandates, have made these once popular migration destinations less attractive to buyers, the report said. And lots of people have to leave Florida and return back to places like California and New York City because basically there are certain cases home sales are down overall in the United States of America by 8.3% compared to a year ago, and price growth has slowed to just 1.1% in some markets. Individual Florida cities also produced grim results. Jacksonville with a score of 16 in the worst housing market among large U.S. cities. Tampa came in third with a score of 17.4. Miami has the 7th worst market. No, obviously, because Miami is the most expensive, one of the most expensive cities in America right now. Not only just the state of Florida, but in America right now. Miami is almost more expensive than Washington, D.C. So Miami is on a whole nother level of being crazy when it comes to the real estate market, but I'll leave it at that. No large Florida cities made the list of the top 15 hottest markets. That section was topped by San Francisco, which is obviously one of the most expensive cities probably the Bay Area is the most expensive part of in America. New York is behind them, right behind them, but the Bay Area is the most expensive. Shout out to the Bay Area, followed by San Jose, California, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Mid-sized real estate markets indicators were also brutal for Florida. Cape Coral came in the last in the United States, preceded by St. Petersburg. Another 3 mid-sized Florida cities landed in the bottom 15, including Hollywood, Florida, Port St. Lucie, and Pembroke Pines. So there you have it when it boils down to the state of Florida. Like I said, no hate, just pointed it out because I can point out the negativities and positivities of any state in the United States when it comes to real estate. And you know, Florida is just one of those states that what's always hurt the state of Florida is obviously hurricanes, high personal property taxes, high HOA fees, and then of course high insurance costs when it comes to owning a house. So you know, or even being able to get insured to own a house. So that's another story for another day. But anyways, do the great 3 free things, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget Patterson Properties, a wholesale real estate within the DMV area, Baltimore, Maryland, and Eastern Pennsylvania, specifically Reading, Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and all that good stuff. Allentown, check us out. If you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual retirement account investor, don't forget to check out Webull/AcornScripto.com, Coinbase, where all those platforms you'll be able to make somebody move so you don't live broke like a fool. Remember, you can't get fired if you own the company. It's 2026 time. If you own something, so do the great 3 free things, like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money move so you can live broke like a fool, as they say in Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life.